Well everyone, it's that time again. Earlier this year, there was a WWDC and sure enough, iOS 9 was announced along with Swift 2.0. And for the gamers out there, there's also some great additions to SpriteKit, including a completely new framework called Gameplay Kit. And even more recently, Apple announced tvOS for the new Apple TV, which will also fully support Swift 2.0, SpriteKit, Gameplay Kit, Scene Kit, and Metal. So there's quite a lot that's new and quite a lot that's changed. So just like when Swift 1.2 came out, I wanted to do this video to give you a quick run through of some of the changes you need to know about if this is your first time through the course, and it'll be helpful to know these things going into it in case the rest of the course hasn't been updated at the point in time you're watching this video. I'm considering this a stage 1 update where I provide you the updated course files and show you through the changes, but there will also be a stage 2. And in stage 2, either the entire application will get updated for all the new stuff in Swift 2.0 or Gameplay Kit, or you'll get an entirely new application. Now you may ask why I haven't decided this yet. It's mostly because the game that we've made is quite a small game. Not small in complexity, but small in scale. And a lot of the features in Gameplay Kit are designed for greater scale, such as the entity component system, a lot of the game modeling and using agents. So if I'm going to show you through the major features of Gameplay Kit, I want to be able to include all of that detail. So let's jump straight into how to update the existing app to handle Swift 2.0. This is where you will find the updated course files, along with all the older files as well. If you are working in an older version of Xcode, you may want to consider using one of these. Okay, so when you open up an existing game that was written on Swift 1 or Swift 1.2, straight away you get this update to recommended settings. I recommend you go ahead and do that. Okay, now let's start working through these errors. This first error comes from not implementing the new error handling functionality. But we don't actually need this function anymore because it now comes as standard functionality with SpriteKit. So I'm just going to remove that one entirely. Now I'm just going to work through making the recommended adjustments. Now here, the problem is that one of our variables actually uses a new keyword, throw, and this is part of the new error handling. So we just need to change this name. I'm going to use player throw. And now there's no more problems with it. Now a lot of these errors are relating to different ways of handling optionals or different ways of naming your functions. If you wanted a name on the first variable passed into a function, you had to use a hash symbol, whereas now you just use the name you want to appear, then leave a space, and then the name of the variable. Now when we come to looking at our fonts, this is another one where here you can see we used to pass in an error, so this will actually now be using the new error handling function. So we now put this inside a do statement. We put try before the function that once had an error in it, and then we catch any errors and report on the issues. And you'll notice now that print is just the word print, whereas it used to be print ln. Now when we come to our touches began, touches moved, touches ended, touches cancelled, there'll be a few changes. I'm just going to copy in the update for you. So basically they're changing from a set NS object to a set UI touch. You'll notice that when we set the resolution that we don't actually do anything with the constant that we create. So you don't really have to name it anything, you can just do a underscore and that'll be sufficient. And the supported interface orientations function has also changed. You're now passing in a UI interface orientation mask and it's expecting .landscape.portrait, and you can be more specific to left and right, up and down as well. Now I'm not commenting on every change here. That's because not every change is that complex. Most of them you can just automatically fix. But if you feel like you've missed something, you can compare the two source code files and see what I've done to fix it yourself. Now, another important thing, the way enumerate works has also changed. So down here, instead of enumerate characters, it'll be characters.enumerate. Now when we come to our prepare animation for dictionary, I'm just going to change a few of these variable types just to make it a bit cleaner. So we're saying it is an array of SK texture. And there we go, that's a lot cleaner. Now there's also been some changes to strings. The string itself is no longer a collection of characters, but you can still access the characters as a collection by using .characters and then in this case .count, because you want to count the characters. And again down here, instead of line.enumerate, it's going to be line.characters.enumerate. Okay, so just continue to work through it. You'll find that there's quite a few try-catch statements that you'll need to add. You'll be fixing up a lot of print lines, but most of it will be fairly easy. Here in our background music, you'll find that there used to be an error on it as well. So we're changing that to a do catch statement as well. Now we no longer use toInt. Instead, we'll just wrap it in an int. The compiler is also telling us that these values don't change, so we can set them to a constant instead of a variable. Now when we go to build and run, we're getting this error here. And this is because the font that we're using does not support bitcode. Now, lucky for us in this, we don't actually need bitcode in this build, so we're just going to disable it. Disabling it is done by going to your target, build settings, search for bitcode, and then change enable bitcode to no. Okay, build and run, and let's see how it goes. And it looks to be working all good. Now this is all we needed to do to get the app up and running and working, but obviously with a lot of the new features in Swift and a lot of the ways that SpriteKit has changed, this might no longer be the optimal way to code the application. So as mentioned in stage 2 of this project, we're going to cover a lot of that detail. At the end of the level you'll see here that there's this white column, and I'm just going to fix that by changing the Z level of that item to be behind the background, and that's all I had to do to fix that one up. Now before we even get to stage 2, you'll see at the bottom of the course list there's a bunch of complimentary videos I'm working on. They'll run you through how to get up and running with Gameplay Kit and some of its major features. I'm also going to include a video down here very soon that'll show you how to add a target that's tvOS compatible. So you'll be able to play this game on your new Apple TV. And I was lucky enough to receive a Apple TV developer kit. So I'll be able to have that all tested and running perfectly, and of course available pretty much as soon as the Apple TV is released and the NDA is lifted. Now you've probably noticed that I haven't been as active on this course as I have in the past, and while I do apologize for that, there has been a very good reason. Now I haven't been able to talk about this until now, but I've been working with the Ray Wenderlich team on the new iOS and tvOS games by tutorials. And while there's not too much I can tell you about this book now, it is absolutely packed with great content. There's 5 full games, and not just small mini games, these are on a pretty awesome scale. I really hope you do choose to check it out, and remember, if you use the links provided on Aptly Creative, then it helps me out too. And in doing so, it helps give me time to add more content to this course. So thank you all for your support. I'm working hard to get content for you very soon, and thank you for your patience.